Welcome everybody to the Detonated YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Olympia inside of Black Ops 6 because as of now, it looks like the Olympia gang is absolutely thriving. Following the launch of Season 4 Reloaded, we got the Olympia not as a shotgun, but a special weapon which sits underneath the Sarin, the nail gun, and the D1.3 sector. We are joined today by Detonated co-owner Mr. Fajardi. How are you feeling about the brand new Olympia which just got added a couple days ago?
Yeah, the new Olympia is, I say new Olympia because this thing is added back bigger and better than before than we've ever seen inside of not only zombies, but Black Ops as a whole. This gun is an absolute monster. And this even goes back to the Season 4 initial blog post when Treyarch tweeted out the Olympia. They actually said the M14 gang is in shambles right now, which is a very old joke, running joke inside the community. But yeah, the Olympia was added, well, like you said, with Season 4 Reloaded through the Beavis and Butthead event. You had to complete that event. I think you had to get around 250,000 XP. One of the smaller events actually for the event passes, but yeah, it's a very good weapon. As you said, it's a special, which had some people on edge. People weren't really too excited when they heard it was a special. They're like, why isn't it a shotgun? All these sort of things. But they did promise it would be a good special, and boy, did they deliver. Maybe not in Warzone, but in multiplayer and in zombies, this thing is an absolute monster. And as a little side note, you can actually like sort of scam the mastery camos if they're available for you. You can start at Opal, King's Ransom, or Diamond and just get right to the mastery camo for the designated mode immediately. I don't know how that got passed, but you can just get that immediately. But yeah, the M14 gang is not looking good right now. The Olympia is way up.
So no complaints that you could just kind of breeze your way through some of the later mastery camos. I'm sure they'll get that fixed, and as far as what happens after that point is unknown. Do you have to go through and do the military challenges and the specials and gold to then use the masteries you already unlocked? Who actually knows? But I think as with most special weapons in Black Ops 6, it's kind of just a weapon that's fun to use in multiplayer. It's not the most viable. It's all right. You could have some fun with it. In Warzone, I've seen some mixed clips where it kind of one-taps people depending on the range, but obviously the Olympia doesn't offer many attachments as it once did back in a game like Black Ops 3. You only have the option to mess with the barrel and the stock. Really wouldn't recommend doing that, but regardless, zombies is where this weapon shines the most, and rightfully so, because as you said, Treyarch themselves are fully well aware of the Olympia lore from some older zombie experiences. I mean, the Olympia and the M14 have always been wall weapons in the starting room. Now, as of recording this, the Reckoning, aka DLC 4, is not released yet, so is there a possibility maybe the M14 is a Season 5 weapon and we get some really cool addition of the Olympia and the M14 as a starting room weapons in the last map? That would be fantastic. If not, fingers crossed for BO7. But inside of Black Ops 6 Zombies, when you pack a punch this thing, it has a bit of a secret ability, as other weapons do in this game, if you want to jump into that real quick.
Yeah, basically when you pack a punch the Olympia, it gives you the Dragon's Breath ability, which is not an attachment for it, because there's only 2 attachments actually available for the Olympia because it is a special weapon. But this Dragon's Breath, fire round ability is absolutely killer. It shreds through like pretty much everything. It is an absolute beast. It's awesome. It's fun to use. And, compared to other special abilities, obviously you have like the GS-45s that turn to the Mustang and Sally, or explosive rounds. And some other ones that people might not know are the TR2, which I believe gives you a 3-round burst, I believe it is. It's always cool to see the special pack-a-punch abilities they add, and this one is clearly one of the better ones, I think, in Black Ops 6 Zombies.
Oh, absolutely, man. So I'm curious to see, if we have carry forward from BO6 to 7, and if BO7 adds, for whatever reason, a classic M14 like BO3 did, then we can truly compare the modern M14 and a modern Olympia against each other inside of every game mode. That'll be fun to take a look at. But either way, I mean, this debate's been going on for over a decade. I think everyone has an acquired taste. Me personally, I was more of an M14 guy, but there was something about the BO3 Olympia that I got addicted to. I used it even more, I think, in multiplayer than the M14. And then in Zombies, I know I got gaslit a couple times. I believe it was a little bit after Chronicles came out is when they patched in like the 1911. I think the Olympia was in the mystery box with the M14, but I can't remember exactly if those were wall weapons In Chronicles, I don't think they were, but I believe they were added to zombies later. But I've been gaslit many times where people are like, no, those guns weren't in BO3, but it actually is people's maybe first time using the Olympia since what, Black Ops 1 or 2? It's been a while since you've had access to it, and it's free. I also am fully well aware that there's some folks that are like, well, actually, DK, in Modern Warfare, we have the 725. And I'm like, yeah, I get that too. But we're talking about Treyarch and Black Ops games. So the classic Olympia in the flesh has not been seen in quite some time.
Yeah, the entire basis around the M14 and Olympia debate was basically all hinged on the old point system, where, you know, if you wanted to kill things fast, or you wanted to kill things slower, you wanted to get the points off the zombies, and the Olympia kind of didn't do that. It was always just a one shot. Maybe you couldn't get the headshot all the time, so people naturally went for the M14 because you can get those headshots easy. You can get more points out of the zombies because that's how the point system was. But nowadays, it's how fast you can kill the zombies, unless you're not using a melee weapon. But so I think it's a little bit of a different ball game now, where I think if you added the M14 to this game, I think Olympia Gang would reign supreme, but that's besides the point. I do think this debate is one of the most funniest things we've seen in the entire community. You see all the memes. I'm sure maybe some of them can go up on screen. Like, notice how he's reloading the Olympia, or notice how he has no points. This post was made by M14 Gang. Like, hilarious stuff. And yeah, that was one of the basis of zombies. That, like, one of the biggest focal points of zombies as a whole back then. It was quite a funny time, and it's still reaching to this day. Like I said, Treyarch even acknowledged it themselves. Absolutely hilarious.
Even if the M14 gets added at some point, I still think the Olympia will probably go down as having the better inspect on modern technology. But either way, right, what you mentioned with the point system is really important, because let's say the M14 comes back around, or if you just want to use any other marksman rifle that's live right now that you can pretend is the M14, either way, think about when you pack-a-punch the weapon now, because you could say, hey, even if the point system no longer works the way it did before, so it doesn't matter if you use the M14 or the Olympia, you could think about when you initially upgrade either weapon, which one's going to be more viable. In this case, I think it's absolutely the Olympia. This thing is shredding boss fights, shredding some of the higher tier enemies, and I think it's pretty impressive considering it's a special weapon. It kind of reminds me of the Growl from Season 3, where that was a conversion kit for the SWAT, but in my opinion, I think for the most part, in most modes, it was actually arguably better than both the Kilo and the AMAX. I prefer the Growl conversion kit, so even though the Olympia isn't a standard shotgun, I still think it is pretty competitive as a weapon, especially when going into zombies.
So when this got added with Season 4 Reloaded last week, people naturally, they were so excited to hop in and try this thing out against all the bosses. And one person in particular, another zombie YouTuber, MZC, he hopped in, did all the bosses with it, and he claims it is the best weapon in Black Ops 6 Zombies at the moment. And there's a clip of him absolutely destroying the Guardian. Now he is using the free fire gobble gum, but the damage is still unreal on that. And that's the main point of it. And there's probably some gameplay going on in the background of this video as well, where this thing is destroying hordes, and I think people are very impressed with it as a whole. I know I definitely was, because I was not necessarily thinking it was gonna be like, I think it was gonna be all right, but like, this thing, it's fun. It decimates entire hordes, manglers, abominations, doppelgas, anything you throw at this, it will get chewed up and spit out instantly. It is unreal.
But honestly, how poetic is it that they chose this weapon to be the new quote-unquote meta for zombies? It's super respectful of a weapon that's been around for over a decade. With that being said, though, folks, that is our review of the brand new Olympia inside of Black Ops 6. If you want to see more weapon reviews just like this, drop a comment down below. And for those wondering where the 1911 is, we're all asking the same question. Another absolute beauty from the original Black Ops games that hasn't made its return into BO6 yet. Maybe by Season 5 or 6, or they'll save it as some type of pre-order reward in Black Ops 7. We'll just have to wait and see. But with that being said, we will catch you all in the next one.